Kroger makes it easier than ever to satisfy all your protein and fiber needs with our exclusive brands. Now you can find these extra benefits in the foods you already know and love. Snack smarter with Simple Truth Protein Salsa Verde tortilla chips. Or grab a Simple Truth Protein Energy Bar or flavored protein water when you're on the go. Stop by Kroger and discover new favorites today. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
You know what I've noticed? People think change takes forever. They say, give me a year, give me 5 years, maybe someday. But here's what I've learned in 70-something years on this earth. Real change doesn't take time. It takes a decision. One decision, not a wish, not a hope, a decision. You can change more in 7 days than most people change in 7 years. Not because you're special, because you finally stopped negotiating with your own laziness. Let me tell you something. The person you are right now, that's not your final form. That's just the version that got comfortable. The version that started believing excuses. But inside you right now, as you listen to my voice, there's a better version waiting to break out. Not a different person, a truer person. And that person doesn't need more time. That person needs 7 days of focus. Let me show you how. Day 1, take the first hour. Here's a question. What do you do with your first hour? Most people give it away. They wake up, grab that little rectangle of distraction, and before they've taken 3 breaths, they're living someone else's reality. Other people's problems, other people's opinions, other people's drama. And then they wonder why they feel behind all day. Listen to me. That first hour is sacred. It's not just the start of your morning, it's the start of your momentum. And momentum is everything. When you wake up, don't reach for the world. Reach for yourself. Drink water. Move your body. Sit in silence. Write down what matters. Command the morning. Don't let the morning command you. Because here's a principle I've lived by for decades. Win the first hour, and you've already won the day. Lose the first hour, and you'll spend the rest of the day trying to catch up. Try this for 7 days, just 7 mornings. Wake up with intention. Guard that first hour like it's gold, because it is. And watch what happens. Day 2, cut one thing now. People make a mistake. They think transformation means adding 20 new habits, meditation, cold plunges, 5 and runs, journaling, affirmations, all of it at once. And by Friday, they've quit everything. Here's a better way. Don't add, subtract. Just one thing. 1 week habit, one small behavior that's been quietly stealing from you. Maybe it's the phone in bed. Maybe it's the complaining. Maybe it's the extra hour of television. Maybe it's the way you talk to yourself when you make a mistake. Pick one, just one, and cut it out like a surgeon cuts out something that doesn't belong. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to break the pattern. Because once you break one chain, the others start loosening on their own. Try this today. Find the one habit that whispers, it's not a big deal, and realize that's exactly the one keeping you small. Cut it, and feel the space it leaves behind. Day 3, move like you. Let me ask you something. How do you move through the world? Do you walk like you're going somewhere, or do you shuffle like life is a burden? Because your body and your mind are not separate. They talk to each other all day. When you slouch, your confidence drops. When you drag your feet, your energy drops. When you move small, you think small. But here's the good news. It works the other way too. Stand tall, and your mood lifts. Walk with purpose, and your mind follows. Move with fire, and suddenly you feel alive again. You don't need a gym. You don't need fancy equipment. You just need to move every single day this week like it matters. Because it does. Do 20 push-ups. Go for a hard walk. Stretch on the floor. Dance like nobody's watching. I don't care what you do. Just move. Movement creates momentum, and momentum changes everything. Day 4. Clean your mind. Here's something nobody tells you. Your mind is a garden, and you are the gardener. What are you planting? What are you watering? If you fill your head with chaos, all day bad news, negativity, people who tear others down, don't be surprised when you feel anxious and lost. Garbage in, garbage out. That's not philosophy. That's just how it works for 7 days. Control what you consume. Turn off the noise. Step away from the doom scrolling. Mute the voices that make you doubt yourself. Not forever, just for 1 week. Give yourself 7 days of clean input. Listen to something that builds you. Read something that sharpens you. Surround yourself with ideas that challenge you to grow. You'll be amazed at what happens when you stop letting the world scream at you and start listening to your own voice again. Clarity doesn't come from more information. It comes from less noise. Day 5. Write it down. Here's a secret about successful people. They plan. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But most people don't do it. They wake up and hope for the best. They react to whatever shows up. They let the day happen to them. And at night, they wonder where the time went. Don't be that person. Every night before you sleep, write down what tomorrow looks like. What time will you wake up? What are the 3 most important things you must do? When will you do the hard stuff? Put it on paper. Make it real. Then when morning comes, you don't have to think. You just execute. You follow the plan like a pilot follows a flight path. Planning doesn't restrict your freedom. It creates your freedom. Because when you know what matters, you can say no to what doesn't. Try this tonight. 5 minutes of planning, and watch how different tomorrow feels. Day 6. Do what's hard now. We get to the heart of it. Most people spend their lives running from discomfort. They take the easy path. They avoid the hard conversation. They put off the difficult task, and they wonder why they feel weak. Here's the truth. Strength doesn't come from comfort. It comes from resistance. Every time you do something hard, you get a little tougher. Every time you avoid something hard, you get a little weaker. So this week, do one hard thing on purpose every day. Wake up early when you want to sleep in. Speak up when it's uncomfortable. Start that project you've been avoiding. Have that conversation you've been dreading. It doesn't have to be huge. Just choose something that makes you stretch and then do it. Now when you feel ready, now when you feel motivated, just do it, because here's what happens. After you do the hard thing, you don't just complete a task. You prove something to yourself. You prove that you're not controlled by your feelings. You prove that you're in charge. And that feeling, that's self-respect. And self-respect is priceless. Day 7, speak like the new. You let me leave you with something powerful. Your words create your world, not metaphorically, literally. What you say to yourself shapes what you believe. What you believe shapes what you do. What you do shapes who you become. So listen to your language this week. Do you say, I'll try, or I will? Do you say, I hope so, or I'm doing it? Do you talk about your dreams like they're possible or like they're fantasies? Change your words and you change your mind. Change your mind and you change your life. From this moment forward, speak like the person you're becoming, not with arrogance, with certainty, not pretending everything is perfect, but refusing to talk like defeat is an option. Say, I'm becoming better. Say, I follow through now. Say that old version of me is gone. Speak it until you believe it. Believe it until you live it. Live it until you are it. The 7th evening, so now you've done it. 7 days. Not perfect, I'm sure, but better, more intentional. More disciplined, more alive. Here's what I want you to do tonight. Sit quietly, look back at this week, not at what went wrong, at what went right. You took the first hour, you cut one habit, you moved your body, you cleaned your inputs, you planned your days, you did hard things. You changed your language. That's not nothing, that's everything. Because here's what you've really done. You've proven to yourself that you can change. You've proven that you're not stuck. You've proven that the old story you've been telling yourself, I can't, I'm not disciplined, I'll never change. That story is a lie. You are not who you were 7 days ago, and now you know something most people never learn. Change doesn't take years. It takes a decision backed by action, day after day after day. So what now? You keep going, not because you have to, because now you want to, because now you've tasted what's possible, because now you know who you really are. 1 week, that's all it took to start. Imagine what you can do with the rest of your life.
Discover a better kind of backyard water experience.
I'm gonna bring this video back one more time, guys. I want to bring it back one more time.
You know what I've noticed? People think change takes forever. They say, give me a year, give me 5 years, maybe someday. But here's what I've learned in 70-something years on this earth. Real change doesn't take time. It takes a decision. One decision, not a wish, not a hope. A decision. You can change more in 7 days than most people change in 7 years. Not because you're special, because you finally stopped negotiating with your own laziness. Let me tell you something. The person you are right now, that's not your final form. That's just the version that got comfortable. The version that started believing excuses. But inside you right now, as you listen to my voice, there's a better version waiting to break out. Not a different person, a truer person. And that person doesn't need more time. That person needs 7 days of focus. Let me show you how. Day 1, take the first hour. Here's a question. What do you do with your first hour? Most people give it away. They wake up, grab that little rectangle of distraction, and before they've taken 3 breaths, they're living someone else's reality. Other people's problems, other people's opinions, other people's drama. And then they wonder why they feel behind all day. Listen to me. That first hour is sacred. It's not just the start of your morning, it's the start of your momentum. And momentum is everything. When you wake up, don't reach for the world. Reach for yourself. Drink water. Move your body. Sit in silence. Write down what matters. Command the morning. Don't let the morning command you. Because here's a principle I've lived by for decades. Win the first hour, and you've already won the day. Lose the first hour, and you'll spend the rest of the day trying to catch up. Try this for 7 days, just 7 mornings. Wake up with intention. Guard that first hour like it's gold, because it is. And watch what happens. Day 2, cut one thing now. People make a mistake. They think transformation means adding 20 new habits, meditation, cold plunges, 5 and runs, journaling, affirmations, all of it at once. And by Friday, they've quit everything. Here's a better way. Don't add, subtract. Just one thing. 1 week habit, one small behavior that's been quietly stealing from you. Maybe it's the phone in bed. Maybe it's the complaining. Maybe it's the extra hour of television. Maybe it's the way you talk to yourself when you make a mistake. Pick one, just one, and cut it out like a surgeon cuts out something that doesn't belong. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to break the pattern. Because once you break one chain, the others start loosening on their own. Try this today. Find the one habit that whispers, it's not a big deal, and realize that's exactly the one keeping you small. Cut it, and feel the space it leaves behind. Day 3, move like you, mean it, let me ask you something. How do you move through the world? Do you walk like you're going somewhere, or do you shuffle like life is a burden? Because your body and your mind are not separate. They talk to each other all day. When you slouch, your confidence drops. When you drag your feet, your energy drops. When you move small, you think small. But here's the good news. It works the other way too. Stand tall, and your mood lifts. Walk with purpose, and your mind follows. Move with fire, and suddenly you feel alive again. You don't need a gym. You don't need fancy equipment. You just need to move every single day this week like it matters. Because it does. Do 20 push-ups. Go for a hard walk. Stretch on the floor. Dance like nobody's watching. I don't care what you do. Just move. Movement creates momentum, and momentum changes everything. Day 4. Clean your mind. Here's something nobody tells you. Your mind is a garden, and you are the gardener. What are you planting? What are you watering? If you fill your head with chaos, all day bad news, negativity, people who tear others down, don't be surprised when you feel anxious and lost. Garbage in, garbage out. That's not philosophy. That's just how it works for 7 days. Control what you consume. Turn off the noise. Step away from the doom scrolling. Mute the voices that make you doubt yourself. Not forever, just for 1 week. Give yourself 7 days of clean input. Listen to something that builds you. Read something that sharpens you. Surround yourself with ideas that challenge you to grow. You'll be amazed at what happens when you stop letting the world scream at you and start listening to your own voice again. Clarity doesn't come from more information. It comes from less noise. Day 5. Write it down. Here's a secret about successful people. They plan. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But most people don't do it. They wake up and hope for the best. They react to whatever shows up. They let the day happen to them. And at night, they wonder where the time went. Don't be that person. Every night before you sleep, write down what tomorrow looks like. What time will you wake up? What are the 3 most important things you must do? When will you do the hard stuff? Put it on paper. Make it real. Then when morning comes, you don't have to think. You just execute. You follow the plan like a pilot follows a flight path. Planning doesn't restrict your freedom. It creates your freedom. Because when you know what matters, you can say no to what doesn't. Try this tonight. 5 minutes of planning, and watch how different tomorrow feels. Day 6. Do what's hard now. We get to the heart of it. Most people spend their lives running from discomfort. They take the easy path. They avoid the hard conversation. They put off the difficult task, and they wonder why they feel weak. Here's the truth. Strength doesn't come from comfort. It comes from resistance. Every time you do something hard, you get a little tougher. Every time you avoid something hard, you get a little weaker. So this week, do one hard thing on purpose every day. Wake up early when you want to sleep in. Speak up when it's uncomfortable. Start that project you've been avoiding. Have that conversation you've been dreading. It doesn't have to be huge. Just choose something that makes you stretch, and then do it. Now when you feel ready, now when you feel motivated, just do it. Because here's what happens. After you do the hard thing, you don't just complete a task. You prove something to yourself. You prove that you're not controlled by your feelings. You prove that you're in charge. And that feeling, that's self-respect. And self-respect is priceless. Day 7, speak like the new. You let me leave you with something powerful. Your words create your world, not metaphorically, literally. What you say to yourself shapes what you believe. What you believe shapes what you do. What you do shapes who you become. So listen to your language this week. Do you say, I'll try, or I will? Do you say, I hope so, or I'm doing it? Do you talk about your dreams like they're possible or like they're fantasies? Change your words and you change your mind. Change your mind and you change your life. From this moment forward, speak like the person you're becoming, not with arrogance, with certainty, not pretending everything is perfect, but refusing to talk like defeat is an option. Say, I'm becoming better. Say, I follow through now. Say that old version of me is gone. Speak it until you believe it. Believe it until you live it. Live it until you are it. The 7th evening, so now you've done it. 7 days. Not perfect, I'm sure, but better, more intentional, more disciplined, more alive. Here's what I want you to do tonight. Sit quietly. Look back at this week. Not at what went wrong, at what went right. You took the first hour. You cut one habit. You moved your body. You cleaned your inputs. You planned your days. You did hard things. You changed your language. That's not nothing. That's everything. Because here's what you've really done. You've proven to yourself that you can change. You've proven that you're not stuck. You've proven that the old story you've been telling yourself, I can't, I'm not disciplined, I'll never change, that story is a lie. You are not who you were 7 days ago, and now you know something most people never learn. Change doesn't take years. It takes a decision backed by action, day after day after day. So what now? You keep going, not because you have to, because now you want to, because now you've tasted what's possible, because now you know who you really are. 1 week, that's all it took to start. Imagine what you can do with the rest of your life.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. See, it's like 9 o'clock at night, and most people are winding down. getting ready to go to bed, and we're just getting started. Yeah, we're just getting started. So really quickly, go ahead and drop them 922s in the chat if you're live with me on Beginners Trading Training with yours truly, Mr. KH. Come on in the building, guys. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Come on in the building. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Drop them 922s if you're live with me tonight on Beginners Trading Training with Mr. KH, yours truly. Come on in the building, guys. Tonight's conversation is, like it always is, back to the basics. Yes, tonight, basics. Mastering market structure. That's my conversation with you tonight. That's what we're going to be doing and going over on the charts, okay? So, drop them 922s in the chat. Let me see who we got on the call tonight. Because tonight is your night. I know you love my singing. I know you love my singing. Yeah. I know y'all love my singing. All right, come on, let's get into it. So tonight we're going to talk about mastering the basics, right? And for beginners, because that's what this call is a beginners, is when you know how the market flows, when you know the pattern of the market, when you know how the market moves, and you know what to do to determine what to do next, and then after that, then yours truly is going to help you succeed at being absolutely a professional. I'm going to put it like this, a professional at execution, okay? Mastering the basics. Now, most people will get tired of hearing about market structure, because I ain't gonna lie. At one point in the beginning, I didn't know what it was. The only thing I thought it was the head and shoulder pattern, because my mentor told me, Kev, trading the head and shoulder pattern is not a strategy. It's market structure. And I'd be like, okay. So for a long time, I would just think the head and shoulder pattern was just market structure. Until I really dive head first into the education even more. Because I had mastered being able to see the pattern, I was making money like for a long time with minimal information. Because what I realized that I didn't need to understand what the bicosity of the mypopoles with the triopoles was. I didn't have to know all that extra stuff because it was just jargon. I just needed to know how to identify the pattern of when to in and get out. That's all I needed. And even to the day, I still feel like that's all I needed. However, I've grown exponentially because I really start seeing how the patterns of the market move in conjunction with one another, right? If you already have downloaded the Trade with Patterns inside of the Academy, drop some ones in the chat. If you've already downloaded, if you've already went through it, each pattern, if you already just went through all the confirmations, right? Drop a 111 in the chat. And even if you haven't went through all of them, you've already downloaded it. It's on your laptop. It's no longer mine. It's absolutely yours. And you know exactly now that you have a cheat code, okay? So what I'm going to pull up on the charts tonight is I'm going to pull up how to identify market structure, what to do when it comes to identifying market structure, and then beyond that, pretty much what to do next. And the reason why we're always looking for the head and shoulder pattern. We're always looking for market structure, okay? So let me pull up my chart real quick. Ooh. We got to get some money this week, man. We didn't get a lot of money last week, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of foolishness in the market. NFP, you know what I'm saying? Wow. Basketball, everything, man. It kind of kept me away from the charts a little bit, you know? So I apologize a little bit. But it's like a heavy dose of AAU, it's really a heavy dose of high school summer ball right now with Ari. So forgive me if I didn't, even though I was always looking for the charts, the market wasn't really given. But at the same time, you know, we got to get some money this week. So let me pull my chart up real quick because we're about to get into the nitty gritty. All right. So I was always taught, and this is something that I would have to say my coaches, they really helped me understand this one thing. and that is if you find someone doing something successfully, if you copy off of them, you will either get the results that they get or either you can get better results. And so what I need you to do tonight is I need you to absolutely throw everything out the window, like literally, like just start, open up your windows and throw your couch out, throw your bed out. We about to throw the house out. We're about to get a whole new house in 2026 and beyond, right? Mansion. And so what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to get you to copy me. And how I'm going to get you to copy me is because of the mere fact that I need you to know that if you can train yourself to do exactly what you see me do on this chart, you will be able to see everything that I see, okay? And so what is market structure? Drop it in the chat real quick, right? Let's see if we can get some engagement tonight, Kev. Let's see if the friends of the family and the family of the friends can give us some conversations, okay? What is market structure? You can give me a very simple definition for it in the chat, right? Or a brief definition, but what is market structure? Anybody know? Who knows what market structure is, right? Now, when you answer and you answer right, that's letting me know that you know what market structure is. Now I need to help you see what market structure is. And once you can see what market structure is, you can now know how to trade market structure, okay? So I know y'all got Androids and all that on the call tonight. We're a heavy dose of Android users on the call tonight. I can see it. I can feel it. Heavy dose of Android users. So I'm going to be patient with you guys as you're probably typing. But in the meantime, between time, market structure, all right, well, as I'm waiting for somebody to type, I'm going to give you about 30 seconds, and see if anybody knows tonight, or if anybody wants to talk to me. They might don't want to talk to you, Mr. Howell. They might don't want to talk to you. Because this is what helped me learn how to trade. This is what still helps me learn how to trade. This is what helps me be consistent and profitable, right? And you guys probably could agree that I'm probably consistent at being the exact same way I am, because you see the signals group, right? You see the signals group. I can't hide it from you. I can't lie. All right. So Iris says a series of higher highs and higher lows, and or lower highs and lower lows. Thank you. That is exactly what market structure is. So now that we know that, we need to identify what are higher highs. Anytime the market, ladies and gentlemen, is moving in an uptrend, anytime the market is moving in an uptrend, anytime the market is moving in an uptrend, the market is giving us higher highs and higher lows. Yup, I like that abbreviation, Monet, because that's what I'm about to use right now. Higher highs and higher lows. Oh, whoa, that's 32. We don't need it that big, Cat B. There we go. All right. Higher highs and higher lows. Now, on this first move, this is a high. Okay, it's a high. This is a higher low. Now, I can keep this HL. Well, no, I can't even do that. We're going to start it off how it is. Start it off how it is, Kev. This is a high. Okay? That's a high. And this is a low. It's a high. This is a low. Once the market closes above your high, then you have a higher high. Clearly, everybody just uses it, higher highs for everything. But I'm like, no, this is a high. This is a low. Then once it goes beyond that point, it becomes a higher high. Okay, so now we can go HH. This is a higher high. This is a higher low. And so I'm going to really specifically talk about what to do when you're charting up as a beginner. Because the one thing I stayed away from for a long time, you know what I mean, even though I was making money, was I stayed away from this, charting. I was like, man, I ain't charting. I'm going to get this bread because I see that pattern. But I wouldn't go above and beyond. I found out how to identify the pattern very quickly, and I made money consistently. But now I was told I needed to become a teacher because I retained the information, because I tricked my brain, right? When I planted the seed that I understood how to trade and the patterns before I actually really did, I allowed myself to trick my brain into believing that I did until I really did, right? Because remember, your ears are always on every day, right? Listen. The marriage between your mouth and your ears are forever, okay? And every time you speak to yourself, you hear you. And also, you believe you. So once I recognized what higher highs and higher lows were in an uptrend, I realized these represented, and I'm going to put this over here because I want my chart to be clean tonight. Higher highs, okay, is equivalent to resistance. Higher highs are the equivalent to resistance. So once you identify your highs and your higher highs, you put a horizontal line on it. Okay? This is the golden goose that laid the platinum egg. Okay? I know you're like, oh my God, Karen, you said the platinum leg, it was supposed to be gold. Well, this goose, I know, it laid eggs, it laid gold, silver, and platinum. You know what I'm saying? So, once you use a horizontal line, okay, to identify your higher highs, you've just let yourself know that you know what resistance look like. Because everybody up until this point right now who's on this call, you should know what resistance is. Matter of fact, let me put you to the test. What is resistance? Right? Give me an example. Just give me an example of what resistance is. That'll let me know if you know. Because if you tell me the right answer, then you're letting me know that you know. And you understand it. And if you understand it, once I go through these next steps, you should automatically know what to do all the time, whether I'm there or not. Because that's the whole goal. For you to learn how to do this without me. Okay? Even though I ain't going nowhere. Thank you. It's the ceiling. So anytime something goes up, it hits the ceiling. Bam! Okay? It hits the ceiling. This is what it looks like. Okay? This is what it looks like. Market goes up, pulls back. It just got knocked down by the ceiling. Okay? So if we know that that's resistance, if we know that that is resistance, then when the market gives us resistance on the left side, and we start looking at our patterns, and we start looking at the confirmations that we are looking to get, then we'll know what to do in the event the market gives us what, Mr. Howell? 100% retracement. When the market comes back to the higher low, somebody give me an example, okay? Somebody give me an example of what a higher low is. Support. Well, we know it's support, but give me an example of what it represents. This is what I want to, I was about to say beat in your head, but I don't want to beat anything in your head. But this is what I want you to really get in your head. This visual. All right? This visual. Because I'm going to give you some added information tonight that gives me the ability to have confidence to know when I can take trades and when I can't take trades, right? So we recognize that the higher lows are support, but we know support as being the floor. So we know what a floor is. You can't go through the floor, but when it's time to go through the floor, on the charts, we know the only thing that can break through a floor or a ceiling is a large candle, a large volume candle, okay? We're not going to talk about that right now. So what it looks like when the market sees support, it looks like this. I could have probably used that one, but I want to use a different one. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. So when the market comes, right, when the market's going in a downtrend and it comes here, it wants to bounce here. This is the floor. Okay, so that's what you'd be looking for. Now, we also know that higher highs and higher lows, because they are market structure, when it comes to an uptrend, we got to make sure we're looking at the market from both perspectives, because you just can't always be looking for a regular head and shoulder pattern. Always be looking for the lifeline setup. You got to be looking for the inverse. You know what I mean? You got to be looking for the inverse. So let's also identify market structure. Market goes down, pull back. Market goes down lower, pull back. Market goes down lower, pulls back. Market goes down lower. All right, let's stop right here. So Ira said market structure was a series of higher highs and higher lows. So that let you know automatically you can't look at the market just one way. Now, you can start that way, right, if you're working on mastering the head and shoulder pattern. But I don't want you to miss out on the inverted head and shoulder pattern either. So what I need you to do is I need to trust your brain. I need you to trust your brain, because you can't tell me you can't do more than one thing at more than one time. You can't tell me that, right? From grades 1 to 5, they had you in 7 classes. You still got all A's. You was in every class at least 45 minutes, right? When you got to middle school, they might have gave you the block schedule, right? If you're an ancient ancestor up here, then you probably still had all your class, right? Respectfully. I'm just picking with y'all. So you could multitask. That means you could be in math class for 45 minutes and still make it A. You can come over here to science class and you ain't complain at all. Only thing you complain about was, I don't like homework, but you still did it, right? So because you didn't tell yourself then in school that you didn't understand, or you didn't want to do it, or you couldn't, you know what I'm saying? And you still got A's, I need you to treat yourself the same way. So when you say you can't understand more than one thing at one time, I know you can. We just got to make sure we're telling ourselves the right things, planting those seeds, right? Remembering that at all time we're listening to us and we believe us, right? Which means you got to trick the mind. Because it's not about what? It's not about who you are right now. It's about who you're becoming. And in order for you to become, we have to act as if we're already here. You're already there, right? So when the market's going in a downtrend, where you at? Come on, let me find you. All right, here we go. When the market is going in a downtrend, the market produces what, Mr. Howell? It produces market structure. But it produces market structure from a different viewpoint. And that is, the market now gives us lower lows and lower highs. Yeah. Let's teach tonight, Mr. Howell. Lower lows. And the same thing you did on this side, you do it on this side. The beautiful thing is I don't have to, because the horizontal lines are already there, right? So because the horizontal lines are already there, all I'm doing is identifying support and resistance levels. That's all we doing. Can I tell you how long it took me to really realize what support and resistance was? Because I just won't try to at one point. Can I be real honest with y'all? I'm like, what do you mean support and resistance? Okay. And then they said something, they said supply and demand. Now, the reason why I haven't taught you guys supply and demand is because I don't want to get you so confused with supply and demand and then also support and resistance. Will I give you that information? Will I share that with you? Yes. However, right now I'm not. Why? Because I want you to focus on how the market moves based on support and resistance. I'll give you some jargon on supply and demand. Okay, some of you guys already understand supply and demand as it pertains to our economy, right? You may understand and overstand that, but I don't want to confuse you at that, because you may not even need that in order to become a successful trader. But if you understand what support and resistance is based on how the market moves and how market structure is, because that's how the market flows, then you're good, I promise you. Because as you can see, I don't talk about it as much. Am I aware of it? Yeah. I'm aware of the supply and demand. Supply zone, yeah. Another name for support. Demand zone, another name for resistance. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to confuse you. It's just too much unnecessary information that I feel like you really don't need. That's not going to hurt you. You follow me? You find the information that's going to help you, and that's what we focus on in order to master trading. Okay? It's not the biconstancy or the mypopolies with the chichopolies. We're not doing that tonight, and never. Why? Because it's about simplicity. Now, let's go back to it, Mr. Howell. What am I identifying? I'm identifying market structure, lower lows and lower highs. Now, lower lows become my support, and lower highs become my resistance. Right, Mr. Howell? Right, Mr. Howell? Yeah. Give it to him then. Higher lows represent support. We found out you can't spell, Mr. Howell. All right. Lower lows equal what, Mr. Howell? Equals support, my brother. Because we got to look at the market from both perspectives. I don't want you to miss money because you only focus on the uptrend. I need you looking at the downtrend. I need you to look at the chart how you see me look at it and how you see my move my chart the same exact way. Lower lows are support, Mr. Howell. Lower highs are what? They say lower highs are resistance. All right, perfect. Now, I'm going to tie this into something, resistance. I want to tie this in with something real quick once I finish these. So, clearly, you're seeing how the market, it pulls back and then it continues. When it comes to market structure, uptrend or downtrend. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing the market breaking structure, coming lower. Only to pull back from the area it broke out from, only to go lower. Now, you have some people who trade the break and retest. And I'm not opposed to them doing that. Congratulations. I'm excited that they're making money that way. But I know they might probably lose a little bit more a lot of times if they're not using any other, rules of confirmation. Because when that manipulation comes, right, that we call this head, that's when the institutions come in and they force the market down, they force the market up, okay? And that's why you have some people who, when they start trading and they talk about the break and retest, when you see, clearly when you see the market break and close below, you're thinking the same thing, like, oh my God, we're going to break a structure, wait for the retest, sell the market, ooh. And that's as the market is trending down. Now, at some point, some people will look at that and they will say, you know what, man, I can make money. But it's also a risk. And the risk is risking not knowing when manipulation is going to come. When the banks and the institutions says, I want to push this market in the opposite direction now. And now you get stuck, right? You get stuck because you don't know, or you're not acting like you know how the market moves. So what we do is we let the higher highs and higher lows take place, the lower lows and lower highs take place, and the number one thing we are waiting for so we can trade and get money with the banks, because of the simple fact they were able to come in, right, and get what they needed to get, and we step out of their way. That's what we do. We know they run the show. We know they run the market, right? We ain't even a little fish. We ain't even a goldfish in the ocean. You a tic-tac, respectfully, when it comes to these markets as retail traders. And I'm going to be the first to tell you. But I'll also tell you is you're going to be able to make a ton of money if you just be disciplined and obedient, right? So what we like to wait for as retail traders, understanding how the market moves, is that at some point we know this manipulation is coming. We know that they're going to do this. And what we want to do is we want to trade the right side of the market. Somebody drop in the chat, we want to trade the right side of the market. We want to trade the right side of the market. And the reason why we want to trade the right side of the market is because the left side tells us the story. The left side sets us up for the alley-oop. So if we be patient and let the market paint the left side, we'll know what to do when we have to execute on the right. That's why patience pays. That's why getting to the bag means patience, letting the market come to you. So all we do is let the market come to us. So now we recognize the most important thing that every trader should know, and that's market structure. Now, I have to say this, because if I don't say this, then you'll be lost. And nobody's lost on my watch. Could somebody tell me what's another name for the higher highs? Anybody? Anybody? What is another name for the higher highs? This is where the training gets good. It gets good because there's not a lot more language you need to learn in order to successfully now trade market structure. Okay. Bullish? No. What is another name for the higher high? We know it represents resistance, right? But what else does it represent? What else does that higher high represent? Well, yeah, it definitely represents resistance. When you look at that uptrend and you're looking at that higher high, what does it represent? I'll give you a hint. From a trader's pattern perspective, let me say it like that. Somebody said buyer's sentiment. Now remember, if the higher high is resistance, then that means that will be more so like seller's sentiment. Yeah, if it was more so like the higher low I was talking about, it'd be more so like buyer sentiment. Thank you, Iris. Left shoulder. Everything I'm talking about up here has everything to do with the patterns that we trade. Watch this. Left shoulder. What does the lower low represent? What does your lower lows represent? Anybody know? I know you was like, why you ain't ask us what the higher low represent, Kev? We know what it represent. Why don't you go ahead and get that out the way first? Nope. What does the lower low represent? Anybody know? Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. What does your lower lows represent? Okay, we're looking over here now from a downtrend perspective. What does your lower lows represent? Anybody know? Anybody knows? Thank you, Iris. I'm glad you put that in front of that. The inverted left shoulder. Talk to me nice. Thank you. I promise you, all of this is going to make sense in the end. And I know you're thinking this now, like, it already makes sense, Kev, because we've been up here with you for a while. I'm grateful that you're going through this again, because I know it's about mastery and self-mastery. But, yeah, bro. I got it, bro. I got it down pat, bro. That means you should be going 7 out of 10 trades every week. Every time you trade, you should be winning at minimum then. Right? That's what the goal is. Because it ain't about, what you say, Mr. Howell? It ain't about. All right, let me slide this old guy. Leave, eh? All right, there we go. All right, perfect. Now you can tell me what the higher lows represent. What the higher lows represent. Anybody know what the higher lows represent? Talk to me nice. Higher lows and lower highs. What do they represent? Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. I know y'all love my singing on a Sunday. I'm so grateful y'all love my singing. Talk to me nice. What does the higher low represent? And what does the lower high represent when it comes to market structure? Mm-hmm. Do. Anybody? Thank you. What y'all scared for? Y'all be chicken sheep. Iris said neckline, Kev. I know what that joke is, bro. Stop playing with me like you act like I don't be doing this. It represents the neckline. Oh, what did I do that for, Kevy? What did I do? Oh, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do that for, Kev? Which button you push, Kev? Oh. All right, there we go. Perfect. We're back. I don't know how that happened. All right, there we go. I need to clone that real quick. Bring it over here. So we know higher support. We know higher lows, and we also know lower highs represent the neckline, right? I'm not going to write it up here because I don't want it to look all bunched up. That's why I'm putting it up here. So that means this training is recorded. It immediately goes to the actual video vault immediately after the session. Most importantly, you can actually take screenshots or take really good notes, right? So we know every pattern in the book. Why? Because we got the book. You got it. It's yours. It's no longer mine, right? So once we identify our higher highs and higher lows as left shoulders and necklines, we can now approach market structure from a strategy perspective. You know what I'm saying? Now, we know the golden rule for the market giving us a head is that the market has to come back 100% retracement of the neckline of any left shoulder. Let me say that. Because I want you thinking that when this market comes here and it gives you 100% retracement of this neckline, you can look to see what move should happen next based on where this thing is, right? Maybe it stops right here and it didn't give you 100% retracement, but it broke structure. 9 times out of 10, this is a change of character in most cases, but also when this happens with a large candle, we know this is a break of the floor, don't we? Drop a 999 in the chat. We know when that large candle closed below that higher low, which is the neckline, we already know what to do next because we trade the right side of the market. So we let the left side paint the picture for us. We let the left side, Mr. Howell, paint the picture for us so we can know what to do on the right. And everything that you know about the structure of the head and shoulder pattern is that every left shoulder needs a head, but not every left shoulder has a head out the gate, especially when the market is in an uptrend. So as this market starts coming back down, right, the market usually will give you an opportunity to get your money. Just depends on what happens. You can't do nothing until you got 100% retracement or breakout, right? Or 100% retracement. But when you are looking at all of these as left shoulders and necklines, and you know that you cannot call this a head until the market gives you 100% retracement, if the market stops right here, you automatically know you only have a head for one left shoulder. You don't have it for this, or this, or this. You only have it for this. So the first trade opportunity starts at the higher area of structure. Drop a 111 if you get what I'm saying. Because if I need to say it slow, I need to say it slower. We know if the market was to stop here, we only have a head for one left shoulder. So you don't have to second guess if you're looking for an opportunity to potentially get a right shoulder right here. What is the questionnaire? What is the questions that we're asking to confirm to get in the trade? What are the questions we're asking? We're asking which side of the left shoulder did the market break out from? It broke out to the high, because the next point beyond my higher high is another high. But then the market stopped and it didn't give us no more highs. It started coming down. Question is, did the market give you 100% retracement of the neckline of said left shoulder? Yes, it did. Do you have a right shoulder? That's the next question. No, I don't. We have a trade set up. We do, Mr. Howell? Yes. Well, where we got to get in at? Every left shoulder needs a right one, don't it? That's why we have the horizontal line right there. So you don't have to be guessing where your right shoulder should come. The only time there should be a zone mapped out when it comes to your left shoulder is if your left shoulder, Mr. Howell, has a wick. You about to draw them a wick, Mr. Howell? You are? Wow. You the GOAT, bro. You about to do that, bruh? Bruh. Let me stop. I know y'all be like, Cam, you better stop playing, dog. Oh my God. We need a wick. I'm about to make a wick. I'm giving you step by step. Why am I giving you step by step of everything I do? Everything I'm looking at? Because this is recorded, which means you can look at it over and over and over again. Now, I have a wick. The only time you're anticipating that you may not just go to the horizontal line as your price because you have a wick. Could somebody tell me, what does a wick mean on the time frame that I'm on? Anybody know? Anybody heard me say over and over and over 1,030 times what a wick is on a lower time frame? The reason why I have this wick on this higher time frame, quote unquote, is because of what? Somebody drop it in the chat. I want to see who'd be listening to me. Because I repeat this probably 1,000 times. And I know y'all like, no, you don't, kid. I think I heard you say that drum about 2 or 3 times, but I ain't heard that drum 1,000. Matter of fact, I ain't even been with you that long, bro. Anybody know? Anybody know? What does this wick represent, man? On a lower time frame. Anybody? The reason why we have to respect it. You know what I'm saying? The reason why we have to respect wicks. Most people question is, do wicks matter? Yes. Right? Yes. Right? Anybody know? If you don't know, they're like, hey, we don't know, bro. That's why we ain't talking no more. All right, let me tell you. The time frame that I'm looking at, whatever that is, if I have a wick on my left shoulder, the reason why we have to respect the wick as an entry, and I want y'all to either write this down or make sure you just program yourself to remember this. That wick is candles on a lower time frame. Somebody just had an aha moment. Oh my God, I do remember you saying that, KB. I knew that, but I just didn't want to say it. I didn't want to be wrong in front of the whole family. And you know what I'm going to say? The person that doesn't ask the question, I look at that as a dumb question. And I know you're probably like, Kev, you get on my nerves. Kev, you get on my nerves. How you going to say that, Kev? How you going to say that, Kev B? How are you, of all people, going to say that? Well, I'm going to say that because what you don't know, you just absolutely don't know. And it's okay. I don't know everything. But stuff I need to learn, I want to learn, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to find it out. I'm going to ask questions. Right? Or I'm going to be wrong. But I'm not going to get put in jail for being wrong. And I think we got to get out of the habit of that. I'd rather you yell out the wrong answer just to tell me something that you're authentically thinking that won't be shunned upon. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, that's the wrong answer. You're stupid. You act like I'm going to be like that. I'm not going to be like that. Remember this. You could have been right, even if you was wrong. Or you could have been wrong, even if you was right. I know you're like, yeah, you get in my nerves. You're always trying to come with something. But it's the truth. What you was thinking, you could have been right. But if you use the leadership part of your brain to be like, I don't care. I think it's this. And then if it's not that, perfect. I need you to be that up here. Every time we come up here. Right? So a wick on the time frame that you're looking on at, it's candles on a lower time frame. So that's the reason why you see me, right? You see me and I'm like, all right, my left shoulder here, I'm looking for the market to come here, but I have to respect the wick. So why does Mr. Howell take why do I take a horizontal line? A rectangle, and I put it on the wick and the body? Because this is resistance on a lower time frame. Did I just give out some sauce? Yes, you did, Mr. Howell. I think you did. On a lower time frame, that's resistance because it stopped right there. But it's a wick for you. So I have to sometimes, right, you'll see me say, all right, if we're on the daily right now, right? If we're on the daily and I'm looking to get an entry to sell this market, depending on how many pips this is right here, I may take this entry just on the horizontal line. However, if I'm looking at this area right here, I drop down to a lower time frame to see where the market hasn't come yet and where it could possibly come in that zone. So I'm trying to get a good entry, which, guys, you're never going to get the perfect entry all the time. But just know, don't be scared of drawdown, because you might get some. Because sometimes I get in these trades and I don't want to miss it. Because sometimes the market will come to that horizontal line and then it'll drop. And it won't come to all the way in the box. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I be like, oh my God, where are we getting in at, right? Because guess what? I got to do what? I got to factor in this wick because it matters. So I'll drop down to a lower time frame to see if there's an area in there. A lot of times I just take half of the wick, right? All right, we're going to get in at the halfway point and I'm going to be good. And my stop loss is going to be above the previous high, right? So if I'm getting here and this is the previous high, my stop loss need to go above here, and now I need to calculate what that stop loss is going to be. That may end up changing the lot size that I wanted to put in, and now I can't because I have a wider stop loss than usual, right? And so instead of me doing the $5 a pip, I may have to do the 50-cent pip. You know what I'm saying? To win the trade, still make money, right? But not over leverage, okay? So that's the reason why I do this. Anytime I see a wick, because that now is a resistance zone. That means I should be looking for this to hit my head on the ceiling. And then if this is the last support level, right? If this is the last support level, then that's my out. Okay? Now, overall, this is your trading range. So let's say, for instance, this is your trading range at 138 pips. you need to get out before this market get to that higher low. Because sometimes the market will actually wick there, right? Bounce off of it and keep going up, and it may not close your trade. So that's why I tell people, your take profit is on the inside of the zone. If you know how to manage your trade properly, then you can get, a lot of good things out of the trade, right? But if you're looking to compound, then you may have a goal or a plan to just get, 20 pips a day or 20 pips a trade. You may be growing your account by a certain percentage. Or if you're able to watch this trade and you're able to manage it properly, then you can get that whole 100 pip move, right? But the most important thing is that I like people to enjoy doing what they're doing and allow money to be actually made without them having to stress. That's why we do pending orders. That's why we predict where the potential market is coming to, so you can be still at work doing what you want to do and realizing while you're at work, you're having your money still work for you. Because the richest people in the world don't work for jobs, guys. And there's nothing wrong with them, right? But there's something wrong with them when you see the economy shift and you don't shift with it. So the most important thing you should be studying and getting your mindset right on is having money work for you more than anything. Why? Because clearly you see work for money, they're trying to replace you. You feel me? So don't wait for something catastrophic to happen in your life for you to make change, right? Get locked in, become serious now. Sacrifice the next 6 to 12 months mastering this skill, right? Mastering, maybe perhaps investing in properties or land outside of it. So whatever the case may be, but be comfortable and uncomfortable with having money work for you, right? I know it feels like you ain't doing nothing for the money. You're not supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. So when we map out this zone and we know that we should be looking for this to be a ceiling, the only time the market will not respect that zone is if market conditions are changing. And so when market conditions change, Mr. Howard has taught my intermediate people and my advanced people, when the market conditions change, we also know what to do. Mr. Howard, I've never heard you say that. Could you show me what you mean when market conditions change? Yes, I can. So, market conditions change is when we think the market's supposed to give us this ceiling, and the big boys say, nah, we just gonna violate it. We don't want to sell. And the market closes above your left shoulder. There's usually a large volume candle that takes place, right? Now, it don't have to be a super long volume candle, but it has to be a volume candle that breaks and closes above that resistance. Because the only thing that can get through resistance is what? A large volume candle, right? That means money has to break that zone. So when that happens, all you do is wait for the market to come back into that area that it broke out from, and now here's your buy opportunity in the opposite direction. That's what happens when market conditions change, right? Now, when market conditions change, what this allows you to do is it allows you to wait for that market to come back here, get out of your sell position here that you got in previously, and then after that, then what you do is you get out of that sell and you get into this buy, and then you take it up to the high. That market should at least come to the head, so you already know what your range is. Now your first range will be here, and then this actual resistance area right here. But your overall move, 9 times out of 10, that market is coming back to the head and above. So you know what your range is now. You follow me? So anytime the market conditions change, it's still market structure. It's just a break of structure happening to give the market a continuation. Okay? That's all this becomes, is a continuation pattern. The market says, I want to remain bullish. We get a large candle closing above resistance, blah, blah, high, but our left shoulder, we wait for the retest and buy the market. Any questions on what I'm sharing with you guys tonight? Any confusion, right? Talk to me. Any confusion? Drop a 333 in the chat if you understand everything I'm saying with clarity. And it happens over here the same way. It's no different, right? If I got a wick on it, y'all see me put a horizontal line on it, right? I see some of the most prettiest charts, and I'd be like, ooh, I probably could make mine super pretty like that, but that's why I don't care. I just need to see what the market is doing. with simplicity. Okay? With simplicity in order to find the money in the market. In order to find the money in the market, that's what I need to do. Okay? Any questions on what you're seeing? Any confusion on what you're seeing? If there's none, drop zeros in the chat. Or y'all might have went to sleep on me. Right? So, really quickly, let's look at news. Right? Our approach to the market is always having the right mindset. Right? So we can go into the week looking for potential money, vibrating on the frequency of wealth, vibrating on the frequency of receiving, right? Becoming, being right now. Right? Okay, let's see what we got. See what we got. We got any confusion, Kevin? I don't think you got no confusion, Kev, because you really, really break this thing down simple. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Can I get a round of applause for that? Round of applause. Baby, make that. I don't know what I would do without you guys. You guys just put a smile on my heart. Thank you. All right, so let's really look at what news comes out for this day, for the day, and then tomorrow, and then all the other 24 hours that come behind one another. Just say it like that. All right, so we got a bank holiday happening right now. We got Monday. Yeah, we got yellow folder. Uh-oh, this looks like one of those. The second week of the month always be them good USD trading. USD trading weeks. We got existing home sales. That's looking like a yellow folder, but I can probably assure you, if we come over here, we got some red folders. Excuse me. Because you ain't going to tell me that they ain't no red. We got orange folders. I see a lot of orange folders. Yeah. What we got? All right, those different pairs. Anytime you see a multitude of orange folders of the same pair, I would say about 4 of them, they really add up to like a red. All right, so we got CAD news on that day. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. We got USD news on that day, 8:15. It's a red folder. See, this is why you gotta look at both of these sites, because Forex Factory be capping sometimes. Be really capping. We got 10 o'clock news for USD. Existing home sales, like I knew, it's always red. I don't know why I be showing yellow over there, but you'll get hung up. You be like, oh my God, I'm gonna trade a US dollar at 10, and then all of a sudden it goes in the opposite direction while you in it. You're like, oh my God, Gavin, can't be. Oh my God. All right, let's go, Cap. All right, cool. We got red folders like crazy on Wednesday. I ain't mad, but we got the clear shot for Monday. So more than likely, I'm gonna be looking for USD pairs. Okay, that's why I was on USD CAD. I'm not a big fan of USD CAD for real, because it don't really pay out like I would like it to. But I'm looking at it because it's a USD pair. I know we got 4-hour time frame. Look at that uptrend. Market goes up, pulls back. Market goes up higher, pulls back. Market goes up higher, pulls back. Market structure. All this is giving you market structure. And you're like, when that junk gonna stop, kid? You never know, buddy. You gotta look to the left to see where a higher level of resistance is. That market just missed it. I love this 4-hour resistance right here. It's double top. Yeah. All right, cool beans. All right, let's get out of here because I know that ain't gonna give me what I'm looking for. Let's go look at GBP USD, man. Been a minute since I looked at GBP USD. See if that GBP USD got a bag waiting for us or something like that. Yeah, I already mapped that out. We missed that. No, I did. Did I call that out? I gotta look at the signal, but that would have been a bad trade, brother. Yeah, because I know that green candle is a fake. It was a red one. Nope, that's real. That's on the daily. Let's look at the 4-hour. I ain't giving nothing right now. Market close below that. Retest, sold all the way down. Okay. All right, let's leave GBP USD. Don't take long to identify. Let's look at USD Swiss. That dollar look like it's strong, B. All right, what we got here on the daily? All right, what's the previous high? This is the previous high. beautiful. So, okay. So we know it's in an uptrend right now. Giving you higher highs and higher lows right now. All right, let's drop down to the 1 hour. Let's see if we can see the structure. Nope, not yet. Can't see no pattern. I mean, I do see one, but clearly the market. Clearly the market ain't going right there. Oh, we gave it to you. We gave it to you. Large candle close above. Wait for the retest. Give me a hug. So that already took off. Let's move forward. Let's look at USDJP right real quick. Everybody got it? Everybody where? Everybody still alive? I think everybody probably fell asleep on you, Kev, but you done summoned them to sleep. I don't feel like typing, Kev. That's all. I'm still here. Alright. Alright, this is a prime example. Ooh, that news coming back down now. I remember that. Alright, let's go back up. Boom. In an uptrend. Waiting for this thing to clear this high right here. Waiting for the market to clear that high. That's all I'm waiting for you, Jay. See if it's going to clear that high. Alright. Uptrending. Trending up. Trending up. Okay. It's Sunday. It's Monday in the market right now. Ain't nothing really shaking. Like talking about. To a degree. Alright, so this is what I'm going to do. Because I'm like, oh my God, we haven't seen your face, Kim. Alright, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to let the market move, guys. I'm not going to force anything. Y'all know how I am. But do me a huge favor, man. If you enjoyed this session tonight, tell everybody. Most importantly, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Home call, 9 a.m. Let's go.